Picture this. You're cruising through the snow-covered streets of Toronto, and the SUV gliding past you isn't a Range Rover or a Cadillac. It's Chinese, and it costs more than your neighbor's BMW. 5 years ago, you would have laughed at the idea, but in 2026, luxury has a new accent, and Canada is listening. Tonight, we're diving into the 5 most opulent Chinese SUVs that have arrived on Canadian soil. Vehicles so refined, so technologically advanced, that they're making European automakers nervous. Buckle up, because what you're about to discover will change everything you thought you knew about automotive luxury. Let's rewind for a moment. For decades, the word Chinese car conjured images of cheap imitations, questionable safety ratings, and designs that looked like they were sketched on a napkin. But somewhere between then and now, something extraordinary happened. China didn't just catch up to the West. In many ways, they leapfrogged it. They skipped the gasoline era's growing pains and dove headfirst into electric powertrains, autonomous driving, and interior design that feels more like a 5-star hotel than a vehicle. And now, these machines are here, in Canada, ready to redefine what luxury means on 4 wheels.
First on our list is the Hongqi EHS9. Now, if you haven't heard of Hongqi, don't feel bad. Most Canadians haven't. But in China, Hongqi is what Cadillac used to be in America, the car of presidents, dignitaries, and anyone who wants to make a statement. The EHS9 is their electric flagship SUV, and calling it luxurious is like calling Niagara Falls damp. This thing is a palace on wheels. From the outside, it's imposing, nearly 5.5 meters long, with a bold grille that screams prestige. But it's when you open the door that the magic happens. The interior is draped in Napa leather, real wood trim, and ambient lighting that can shift through 16 million colors. The second-row seats, they recline, massage, and ventilate. There's even a built-in refrigerator, because why wouldn't there be? Under the hood, or rather under the floor, are dual electric motors pumping out over 430 horsepower, propelling this luxury barge from 0 to 60 in under 5 seconds. And with a range of around 500 kilometers, you can cruise from Vancouver to Whistler without breaking a sweat. In Canada, where winters are brutal and roads are unforgiving, the EHS9's all-wheel drive and adaptive air suspension make it feel like you're floating, even when the snow is piling up. Next up, we have the Li Auto L9. Now, Li Auto takes a different approach. Instead of going full electric, they've opted for a range-extended electric vehicle, or REEV. Think of it as a plug-in hybrid on steroids. You've got an electric motor doing most of the heavy lifting, but there's a small gasoline engine on board that kicks in to recharge the battery when needed. It's the best of both worlds, especially in a country like Canada, where charging infrastructure is still catching up.
But what really sets the L9 apart is the interior. This isn't just a car, it's a multimedia command center. The dashboard features a massive OLED screen, and the second row, it has its own screen too. In fact, there are 5 screens in total, including one on the ceiling for rear passengers. Imagine your kids watching their favorite shows in crystal clear 4K while you're navigating through a blizzard in Calgary. The second row seats are like business class airline seats. They recline almost flat, they heat, they cool, they massage. There's even a small table that folds out for working or dining. And the sound system? A custom-tuned setup with over 20 speakers that makes your favorite song feel like a live concert. The L9 is designed for families who refuse to compromise, who want space, comfort, and cutting-edge tech all in one package. And with a starting price around the equivalent of 90,000 Canadian dollars, it's undercutting many European rivals while offering more features. Now let's talk about the NIO ES8. NIO is perhaps the most well-known Chinese EV brand outside of China, and for good reason. They've been making waves globally with their innovative battery swapping technology. Imagine pulling into a station and instead of waiting 30 minutes to charge, your entire battery is swapped out in 3 minutes. It's like refueling a gas car, but electric. In Canada, where range anxiety is real, especially during those minus 30-degree Winnipeg winters, this is a game changer. The ES8 itself is a 7-seater electric SUV that oozes sophistication. The design is sleek, modern, almost Scandinavian in its simplicity. But don't let the minimalism fool you. Inside, it's packed with luxury. The seats are upholstered in synthetic leather that's so soft you'd swear it's real. There's a panoramic glass roof that floods the cabin with light, making even the dreariest Toronto winter day feel bright. The digital cockpit is dominated by a vertical touchscreen that controls everything from climate to navigation to entertainment. And NIO's Know Me, an AI assistant with a cute little face on the dashboard, responds to voice commands, learns your preferences, and even makes jokes. It's like having a co-pilot who actually cares. Performance-wise, the ES8 delivers. Dual motors, all-wheel drive, and a 0 to 60 time of around 4.9 seconds. And with a range of roughly 500 kilometers per charge, it's more than capable of handling Canadian road trips. Fourth on the list is the Zeekr 009. Now this one's a bit different. Zeekr is Geely's premium electric brand, and the 009 is a luxury MPV, or multi-purpose vehicle. Think of it as a minivan, but one that costs more than most people's houses. And before you scoff at the idea of a minivan being luxurious, you need to see this thing.
The Zeekr 009 is designed for one purpose: to pamper its passengers. The exterior is futuristic, with sliding rear doors and a silhouette that looks like it belongs in a sci-fi movie. But again, it's the interior where Zeekr flexes. The second row features 2 captain's chairs that are essentially recliners. They massage, they heat, they ventilate. There are footrests, side tables, and even reading lights. The third row isn't an afterthought either. It's spacious, comfortable, and has its own climate controls. The infotainment system is top-notch, with multiple screens and a sound system that rivals high-end home theaters. Under the floor, there's a massive battery pack providing over 700 kilometers of range, making it perfect for long Canadian highway stretches. And with dual motors and all-wheel drive, it's surprisingly quick for something so large. This is the vehicle you buy when you want to be chauffeured, when you want to arrive at your destination feeling more relaxed than when you left. Finally, we have the BYD Yangwang U8. BYD, or Build Your Dreams, is the world's largest EV manufacturer, and the Yangwang brand is their answer to the ultra-luxury market. The U8 is a plug-in hybrid SUV that's built like a tank, and I mean that literally. This thing has a body-on-frame construction, off-road chops that would make a Land Rover jealous, and a party trick that's straight out of a James Bond movie. It can float. Yes, you read that right. The U8 is designed to drive through water up to 1 meter deep. In a country with thousands of lakes and rivers, that's not just a gimmick, it's genuinely useful. But the U8 isn't just about ruggedness. The interior is draped in premium materials, with screens everywhere, and a level of refinement that feels almost incongruous with its off-road capabilities. 4 electric motors, 1 at each wheel, provide over 1,000 horsepower combined. That's supercar territory. And because each wheel is independently controlled, the U8 can do a tank turn, spinning in place. Imagine showing that off at your next cottage trip in Muskoka. The price? It's rumored to be well over 200,000 Canadian dollars, putting it in direct competition with the Mercedes G-Wagon and Range Rover. But unlike those European icons, the U8 offers technology that feels decades ahead. So why should Canadians care about these Chinese SUVs? Because they represent a shift. For years, luxury meant German engineering or Italian design. But these vehicles prove that luxury can come from anywhere. And right now, it's coming from China. They offer more technology, more space, more features, and often at a lower price than their European or American counterparts. And let's be honest, in a country where winters are harsh and roads are long, practical luxury matters. Of course, there are challenges. Brand perception is one.
Many Canadians still associate Chinese vehicles with lower quality, even though that's increasingly outdated. Charging infrastructure is another. While it's improving, Canada's vast geography means range anxiety is real. And then there's the question of service and reliability. These brands are new to Canada, so the long-term ownership experience is still unknown. But here's the thing. The automotive world is changing faster than ever. The old guard is scrambling to keep up with electrification, and Chinese automakers are leading the charge. They've invested billions into battery technology, autonomous driving, and manufacturing efficiency. And they're not just exporting cars, they're exporting a vision of what the future of mobility looks like. So, the next time you see an unfamiliar badge gliding silently down Yonge Street or parked outside a ski resort in Whistler, don't dismiss it. Take a closer look, because the 5 SUVs we've explored tonight, the Hongqi EHS9, the Li Auto L9, the Neo ES8, the Zeekr 009, and the BYD Yangwang U8 aren't just cars, they're a statement. They're proof that the future of luxury doesn't care about your preconceptions. It only cares about innovation, refinement, and making every journey unforgettable. The question isn't whether Chinese luxury SUVs will succeed in Canada. The question is, are you ready to embrace what comes next? Because ready or not, they're already here.